was read a Christian. And it's interesting to have become a tarot reader because the traditional Christian church didn't agree with that. But it's relaxed more now, you know, and, well, certain branches of it have anyway. Yeah. But, yeah, I didn't start looking through my own eyes probably until I went to uni, and I lived on campus in a college, and we had a real lot of fun.
Yeah. Would you, were you still a Christian in your mind? Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you say you're a Christian now?
I think that I'm a Christian in my heart.
Yep.
I think a lot of people are, without having any religious association, you know. That doesn't need to be claimed by Christianity, but they are my roots, and I still feel really fondly for them.
Yeah.
But
like a tribal feeling, would you say? Like, you know, you associate with a certain thing you grew up with, and
the feeling of it.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. But I mean, I don't hold to Christian doctrine or anything like that.
Right. Was your dad full on about it? And at home, like, certainly, wouldn't it be like, oh, that's my work, or perhaps, you know?
No. It was his love.
Right. Well.
You know, he was very real about it, and he's a heart person. My dad absolutely loves people.
Wow.
He rang me just before I went to yoga this morning, and you know, he wanted to talk, and he's 86 now, so he's losing his hearing. And I said to him, that's so hard for you because you just love people, and it cuts him out of conversations, and he sort of feels like he's losing a connection with people, and he loves people.
Right. Is it like a tinnitus?
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm really interested in ears.
Because,
really are.
I think the tinnitus is the ringing.
Yeah, but you can, interestingly with tinnitus, you can hear, if there was a radio on in the next room, that drives you crazy because you can hear it more than the person in front of you. It's something that's really interesting, like my uncle has it. But anyway, so he can, everything in front of him is really hard to understand, but there's this tiny little tap of water in the next room or something.
I don't think it's like that for him. I'm not sure.
You know, my next door neighbour, he's a heavily Christian guy. And by the way, I didn't grow up with any church at all. You know, I had a best mate in primary school, and his mum took me to church like 3 or 4 times, you know. And I kind of went, I remember going, what's all this about? Like, it was never explained to me. I didn't understand it at all. But then there was one that I thought, actually, this is kind of fun. Like, I actually got into the whole putting up your hands and thing. And I guess I was only 10.
Yeah.
You know, it just seemed like, okay, I don't really get it. But
it feels good.
Yeah, there's a whole group of people here, you know, they all seem happy.
Yeah.
What was I saying here? I didn't lose that train of thought. It was a good one.
Wasn't tinnitus?
No. Come on. Yeah, I'll come back to it because it was...
were we done with ministers? We done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do this, Drew. So I had a really late night. I got home at 2:30 last night from that show. Totally sober and that, but...
Were you talking about how you sort of see your dad as, you know, there's a voice, there's like a significant figure of a voice inside you that's telling you this is a load of rubbish?
Yeah.
And you'd never had your cards done, and you'd never had a religious upbringing, and...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and possibly I need it. Not that I completely understand, say, the books like the Bible and sort of thing. You know, definitely. Just like that video I sent you yesterday, spirituality is a normal part of our brains, like having the want to be it meditation.
Yep.
Okay, that's really all I need, perhaps. You know, some sort of thing, because I'm on the path of the other guy that just keeps work, or you know.
And I think to want to find meaning in life is common to everybody.
Yeah. See, I don't even ask that question.
Yeah.
Do you ever?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
of course I do.
You know, and yeah, right. But okay. this is how we'll do it. Like, you're like, I don't know how whether you want to explain this, but yeah, I met you at the castle, the most sweetheart person I've ever known. Okay, and I'm really mean it. I'm sure you know it, right? And here I was pulling my wanger out in at a theatre restaurant every other night, and you were up the back of the corner, like doing tarot reading. I know, doing tarot, and I'd sort of run around the back of the room and sort of go, "This is the most bizarre and most awesome place in the world." Yeah,
It had everything,
yeah,
didn't it? It had all the bases covered.
yep. And oh yeah, okay, all right. So, and then something significant happened to you, right?
Yep.
That made no sense to me, okay? And a lot of people, right, you know, really broke me up, right? And I'll let you explain that if you wanted to, but what I'm sort of getting at here is that in my life growing up, my grandmother was in my life, but I didn't really see her a lot. My grandfather the same, so I'm 42 years old. I've lived, honestly, without anyone close to me passing away.
That I find incredible.
Yeah.
I find that so incredible.
But I've always said to myself since I turned an adult, like, the day's coming, like, and I fear it will be a whole lot of loss. You know, it's going to happen. I'm still 42, but you know, we had I won't say a name, but we had my friend passed away last week. Okay, and who I knew well, and I had that feeling like that I still can't explain yet. But it's made me think, going back to what we were saying, that it's shown me that our life is only, that we know of, is only this big.
Yeah.
So
it's finite.
So when
it doesn't feel like it every day, but it's finite.
Yep.
And that a death of someone you love, nothing brings an awareness of that like a death.
No. But it makes you think.
It does. It just changes you, doesn't it?
Yep. Yep.
From the minute you hear it.
Can I ask you, have you known other people like to, you know, drop out of your life? It's a normal behaviour. I'm just learning for the first time that life is about as much about life as it is about death.
Good on you, Drew.
You know,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good, because I think death can give us the context in our life that nothing else can. And so
context, exactly.
I experienced it. I mean, I'd known people, especially being in a church, I'd known people who died and I'd been to funerals, but nothing hit me like the death of my second son. And I was 25 at the time. Did you know about that?
A little bit.
Yeah. So he was born with a congenital heart abnormality, and it wasn't picked up until he was 9 days old. And we had to go from Murwillumbah to Brisbane by ambulance, and we had to do the inter-hospital transfers, and we were just lost. We didn't know what was going on. You know, people didn't realise, we didn't know where we were and where we were going next and what was happening. But we eventually landed at the Prince Charles Hospital, and 2 days later, our son had to have open heart surgery. Yeah, he was 11 days old, and that is just the most massive thing to go through. It's just massive.
How old was he?
11 days old.
11 days.
It's incredible. This world exists and you don't know it until you have to step into it. And he spent 6 days in post-op, which is quite a while. Normally, hopefully, it would be shorter. But he eventually was able to come back to the cardiac nursery, and it's huge to knock those milestones off one at a time, for them to come off the ventilator, for them to come off all the drips, you know, for them to be established back onto breastfeeding, which means the mother has to express milk all that time. Yeah. They're not at the breast. You've got to keep up your milk supply, and having your baby be able to take your milk for the first time and then increase it, and you know, all these things are just huge milestones that you all fight through to achieve. So to be able to take our son home was the biggest celebration. Yeah. He was 1 month and we were able to take him home. I had a toddler at home, and we were a family together for a few very short weeks before I saw that my son Joseph was getting sick again. We had another appointment for a checkup, but it was before that appointment, and so this, according to my understanding, wasn't supposed to happen. But I had him checked out by the paediatrician. I was able to keep him at home for another week and a half because we'd been taught in the cardiac nursery at Prince Charles to administer drugs ourselves, and in case our child needed to go home on them. And that kept him steady for a little while, but we had to go back, and 4 days later, quite unexpectedly, he died in the middle of the night. So that was the first time that death struck me in the core of my being. Yeah. And it was really massive.
Do you remember his character? I just want to ask you.
He was beautiful, Drew. He had dark curly hair, and it was long, and he had masses of it, and dark eyes, like his dad. There's an Indian heritage, and the olive skin.
But do you remember that, like, sorry, but you know when the baby's born, it's like, my thought is like, there you are. It's like, I already knew what you were going to look like or something. When you came out, it's you. Yeah. That's what I've said 3 times now. Like, it's you. Like, I knew. That's, so you would have lost.
Yes, that and so much more. It's more than just a person that you lose. You lose all sorts of things inside yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
And the eldest son.
Yes.
Can I ask how old he was when he saw...
When he saw Joseph?
Yeah, like he had to learn that experience.
About death. He did, and he very much did. He was 18 months old when Joseph was born and 20 months old when he died. And I made sure that he was exposed to the death. I made sure that, so we were at the Prince Charles Hospital when Joseph died, and my parents were staying in a motel nearby with Simon. And when he died, they said, "Is there anyone we can ring?" It was 2:30 in the morning. Told them, and I said, "Could you please ask them to bring the other baby?" So they brought Simon, and they came in. I was sitting behind the curtain nursing Joseph, who was dead, in my arms, and I held him up to Simon. I said, "See, Simon, see, Joseph's died, sweetie," and Simon went to give him a kiss on the forehead as he used to do at home, and I wanted him to know what this was like because he wasn't going to be around. And every morning for many weeks after Joseph died, Simon would still come running into my bedroom up to the cradle looking for Joseph. And it was just the saddest thing.
This innocent little boy finding all
in
that excitement, that 9 months of pregnancy, all that excitement of this new life and this thing, and everyone's happy, and then the joy of the birth, and then how confusing.
Yes. And we also...
Did you have that in your own childhood at all?
No.
Right, me
no,
either.
I didn't. No, I lost pets. And psychologists say that the death of a pet is really important, and that it can be as significant as the death of a family member. Yeah. So not to downplay it. And I used to cry my heart out when our kittens died. Yeah. We lost lots of them. Right. So, yeah.
This is kind of sidetracked, but I find it really interesting. They say that pet dogs have, they look you in the eyes, they give you that love. Yeah. Well, the mothers give this, there's its actual chemical, and I wish I could think of it now, but there's a chemical that creates that in your eyes. You're actually sending love to the baby, and the baby responds to that, and they for the rest of our lives, we look for it in other people. Wow. Well, pet dogs have that same chemical, and they think it's been created over time because they've been pets. But you know what I mean? They look at us. If you're angry, they'll go, "Oh," or you're clearly happy. I'll join in with you. But I just want to love you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mothers, mate. Mothers are the best. They are.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say it.
Oh.
Because it's very hard losing a child. There's a lot to experience losing a child. I did attend a support group for bereaved parents for 8 years. I don't go anymore, but I know that there are things that you experience in common, and guilt is one of them. Whether no matter how the child died. Yeah. Because, for that whole 9 months, you don't have to tell a parent, "Hey, the name of the game is to keep the child alive." and if the child dies, there's a lot of guilt to experience